A few reasons why you should just go for it this morning on 7 a.m. Hey, good morning, good morning. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 7 a.m. My name is John Henry Soto, and it is, when is it? It's May 27th, 2021, and we are live right now. And I'm just settling in here with my morning coffee. I hope you're all enjoying a warm beverage this morning. And getting ready for to tackle the day, Thursday. We have one more day before weekend is upon us, and have a lot of plans coming up. Just real quickly before we get started here, please, if you enjoy these gatherings in the morning here with me, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel. Appreciate you very much. Um, and hit the little bell there because then you get notified every single time I go live or if I post a video. So thank you, appreciate that. Um, so I have an announcement that I'm going to be making on Monday. I think it's going to be Monday. I'm pretty sure it's a big announcement. One of the biggest announcements of probably in a long time. In a very long time. Probably since my kids were born. Feels dark in Feels dark here, doesn't it? I don't know if you guys are getting any darkness, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just feeling dark today. But anyway, so I have an announcement. I'll make that on Monday. It's going to be very exciting about that. I'm very excited to make that announcement. Um, but today we're going to talk about go for it, and I think Monday's announcement is kind of a reflection of all this. But um, a couple of reasons why I think you should go for it, and that's right. I'm talking to you. I mean, you should definitely go for it. And by what I mean by go for it means that if you got that thing in the back of your head that you've been wanting to do, or you have those ideas of something that you want to tackle, or you have that project that you want to jump on, or you have an opportunity that you're kind of like thinking, it looks like a good opportunity, but I'm a little bit comfortable here. Well, why you should go for it, you know? That's what we're going to talk about this morning. And a growing up for me was not a lot of go for it. That wasn't necessarily for my family. I think my mom was very encouraging. It's really difficult when you're in an environment where there isn't really a lot of things to go for. You basically just are trying to stay alive, right? But there were ideas that I was growing up with of things that I wanted to do and things I wanted to tackle and dreams, and going for it was not really encouraged because it was scary. If you got yourself a good job somewhere and you made decent wage, a survival wage, which is at the time very, very low, but people would live on $5 an hour, jobs for $5, $6 an hour. This was a thing. Um, and if you were lucky enough to get a position like that, there's a pretty good chance that you would keep it and you would stay there until either you lost it or the company went under or you found something that paid $6 an hour as opposed to five. um, but to go for it, to go for something that's really risky, was not encouraged because of opportunities. They just were not there. And when people say, oh well, not everyone wants to be you know I had someone I had someone tell me they work in the field of science, let's just say, and they said, "Oh, well, I'm not really interested in like winning any, prizes or any you know, you know, and Nobel prizes for science or for discovering anything. I kind of just want to have a job and just teach. But I don't really want to. As a scientist, I don't really want to discover anything or really work that hard on anything. I remember thinking, wow, that's pretty kind of pathetic, actually. It's like, even if you don't, at least you should have the idea that maybe you can, or maybe you should, or maybe you can go for it. And at least going for it and not making it is much better than just being like, yeah, I don't want to go for it anyway. I don't want to do anything anyway. Nah. You know what I mean? It's just such a, ugh. And I think that's one of the biggest turnoff on just individuals in general, like when they're, for me anyway, when they're just not ambitious enough to want to do anything special, or not even, they don't even care if it happens or not, or they don't even want to go for it. I always found that very, very unappealing as a character trait when you meet people that just don't have that interest. Well, I mean, it's fine. It's not, nobody's forcing anybody, right? Nobody's obligated to go out and try to take over the world and try to do great things and blah blah, which is fine. But I mean, at least you can say, possibilities are, anything's possible, right? I mean, so many people throughout history that you can name. I probably can't name them now, but you can name people that you just, they didn't know what they were about to do. I mean, you look at Albert Einstein, who graduated from school, didn't really do great, right? Got a job working at some library somewhere, doing some, and during his time working in the library, he was able to think, and was able to put down, and he was able to write two papers, two of the most important. If one scientist wrote one paper throughout their whole career, this one particular thing was so massive, their whole career would be set on this one paper. Albert Einstein wrote two during this time. And then he went on to obviously become the guy, right? That people are till to this day still trying to unravel some of his theories, right? Um, and he didn't know. He was also not a good student as a kid. He had trouble. He didn't speak till like the age of 4 or something. But I don't think he gave up on himself. I don't think he really thought, well, I guess this is it. But he managed to just keep moving and accomplish what he did. And that goes on to Michael Jordan, who was cut from his uh, varsity team, right? In high school, he was cut, Michael Jordan, right? And what did he do? He didn't be like, well, I guess I'm just not good enough to play, and I guess that's that, right? No, he went and he practiced every single day, right? And he became a goat, right? Greatest of all time, goat. And you know, it takes a lot, but it really comes from inside, and it comes from wanting to um not be not being afraid to take that leap, because the consequences, right, are failure, right? And people are like, oh, well, I don't want to fail, so I'm not even going to start. Well, that is a horrible attitude, because you have no idea what you can accomplish. You may not get to here, but you may get to here. It's just a little like, you may not get to here, but you will get to here. When you were where, if had you not tried to get to here, you would not get to here, you'd get to here. So why not just go for it, right? And not give yourself the opportunity to be successful. So the first thing that I want to talk about is a calling. We all have a calling for something. For whatever reason, we were born into this thing. We're born on this little tiny speck of dust floating through space, spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and traveling through space at like thousands of miles an hour, expanding. And here we are on this little planet. And even though there can be stillness in our lives, the planet is spinning and it's flying through space, right? And of course you can not believe that, and you can be one of those that don't believe in space. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about I'm talking to you guys too, but I mean, obviously we're here for whatever reason. It could be, you could think the world is flat and we're just on a little surface and God is just watching us and testing us and doing that, that's totally good. But for whatever reason, we're here. So we obviously all got a calling to do something. Now, some of us are born other, in different circumstances, right? Some of the circumstances that we were born in was pretty tough, right? You might say that where I grew up, where I was born into the South Bronx during the worst time. The year that I was born, we lost Martin Luther King, we lost Robert Kennedy, the Vietnam War was going on. It was a bad time. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, I was born into this really rough area during that time, and those were the cards I were dealt. That I was dealt, and I had to try to figure out how am I going to get out of here? What am I going to do? What's going on? Um, and I'm happy I managed to figure that out. Um, but I didn't use a lot of excuses during getting out. I didn't use a lot of, well, I can't do that because look where I was born. I don't think I've ever said that. I don't think I've ever said those words when I was growing up. I just didn't. All I thought about was there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a rainbow. There is opportunity. There is something I can do to get to the next thing. Whether it was I go back, I go to school, I get a college degree, whether it's I stick to music and I play music, or, then film, whatever it was that I got into, I always knew there was just something next to go into, right? And I got that because of my family was supportive, but I also had to find that within myself, right? I knew that there was something there. I knew that there was a calling of something, and I'm literally just getting started, in my opinion, in my views. Even at my age, I know I'm just getting started, and there's a whole lot more to come very, very soon, actually. And I'm very excited about that. So the first thing is you have to kind of like serious, ask yourself, what is your calling? Why is it that I have this impending desire to move forward into a certain area of something that I'm passionate about? What is that? Well, it's a calling. You were given this opportunity, you were given this drive, you can call it spirituality, you can call it God, you can call it uh angels, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. There's something within you. You are a spiritual being, which I believe that 100 1000%. You are a spiritual being that has a certain destiny, and you have the ability to make that happen for yourself. The one thing you have to do is give yourself permission to go and get it. Give yourself permission to say, I have been chosen to do something, and I'm going to go and do everything I can to do it and to get that. And I guarantee you that your life is going to improve to such a degree when you make that decision that you're going to look back and go, wow, I can't believe that I almost didn't do that, or I had doubt on this. I guarantee that that's going to happen. And that's a calling, and we all have that. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is that in our weaknesses, we are made perfect for that. Whether we believe that or not, we are we were made perfectly in our weaknesses, right? Our weaknesses is what's going to give us our strength, because that is the thing that we're going to focus on. Whatever our weaknesses are, those are the things that we have to actually use and to play the game, right? This is what we have. Like, for instance, I'm a short Puerto Rican from the Bronx, right? Those are the cards that were dealt. Those are, I'm not going to say being Puerto Rican is a weakness, but being short can be a weakness, right? Especially if you want to be a leading actor or something. It's very difficult to be a Danny DeVito type. But wait a minute, we have Danny DeVito, right? The guy is a great actor. He was a comedic actor. He was a film director. So you have these role models, or these things you can look at and say, those weaknesses that they overcame, I can overcome if we have, if there's similar weaknesses, right? So within your weaknesses, you have the ability to strive and to make it. But you have to sit down and say to yourself, okay, I want to do this. This is my goal. This is why I carry around this book, right? This is my notebook that I carry. I carry it everywhere. Of course, right now I'm only in my house, generally most of the time, but I go to the kitchen and I go to the living room and I go to my space here to work. I bring my book because I got all my notes in there. I got all my goals, all my thoughts, all my dreams, everything that I want to accomplish, all my battle plans, all my to-do lists, everything is in this book where I sat down and I'm like, okay, what is it that I want to do? These are my overall goals that I want to achieve this year. And what do I do? Let me reverse engineer and start working my way towards that goal, towards that thing, right? Within that, you start to see all the weaknesses. Maybe I don't have enough money to do this, or maybe I don't have enough time to do this. It's difficult having the kids and homeschooling. Well, those are the challenges. Those are not necessarily weaknesses, but those are the challenges that you have to kind of overcome, right? So when you think of weakness, or I can't do that, or some people talk a lot about being on social media, and I'm not good on camera, right? Well, I was never a person that would have done this had I not forced myself to say these are my weaknesses. Getting out there. I'm not a highly educated man. You know what I mean? I don't have a college degree. Um, um, and those are you would call that a weakness, although I call that sort of a strength at this point because I'm not in debt either, and I also don't have haven't been indoctrinated into some stuff, right? Have a more of a free thinking person because I didn't go to college. But I did get a lot of education through my church and through my religion and through reading a lot of self-help books and Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk and Brandon Burchard and Russell Brunson and all these people were influential in my education. They actually educated me on this that I'm doing right now. This is what I learned from those guys. I learned that I need to figure out what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, why I'm going to say it, why I want to help people by saying it, and all those things that I thought were weaknesses. I try to work on them to try to make them my strengths, right? And not every weakness has to become a strength for you to be successful either. Like I'm short. I'm not going to get any taller. That is it. I've tried. I've drank too much coffee. Coffee, I think they said stunts your growth. Is that true? I don't even know if that's true. I think that's a lie. It's a lot of BS. But anyway, I don't have any other solutions to that. I'm not gonna walk around in stilts. I tried that. Very uncomfortable. Um, so those are is that a weakness? Well, it's a challenge, right? It's a challenge, right? So I have to figure out how to do that. My solution on the film part was that I would just write roles for myself. I would put myself in the situation. My first film called The Coffee List, I made myself the leading man and a romantic with a beautiful young lady. Why not? I wrote it. I wrote it. I did it. I made it believable. I got great performances, and I was able to do that. But I did that because I didn't let my weaknesses hold me down. I just decided I am great in my weaknesses, and I am powerful despite these weaknesses, and these weaknesses are something that I can overcome, and or I can find ways around them, which I am working towards every single day. I'm not there yet, but I'm always working in that direction. So that's that part. Right now, growing, you will grow, not physically like me, but you will growth is good, right? When you start implementing all these values and all these things into your life, and you start taking responsibility for your ability, for your worth, right? Remember, this is a responsibility that you have to not only yourself but to those around you. You are responsible, especially if you have it in your mind that you can help people, but you don't do it. That's really messed up because who knows who's out there that you can actually impact their lives in such a positive way. And you have no idea who you can actually you can whose life you can turn around in the blink of an eye. You might have that ability. You have to give yourself that opportunity to do that. And not only that, but it's a responsibility. You are responsible to help others, especially if you have gifts to do that. So don't squander it. Don't think that you're better or that you shouldn't be on social media because you're just not that kind of a person or whatever. But listen, the medium right now to communicate with the world is through these platforms. These platforms will come and go, right? Facebook will at some point probably go. they'll be replaced by something else. The internet is not going to go away anytime soon. I guarantee you, the internet is here to stay for a very, very long time. It's not going away. There'll be other platforms to figure it out, but use them. Why? Because they're free. I'm coming to you right now from my house, free, giving you these words from my heart. Me as a spiritual being wanting to help others, I'm using these platforms for that. I'm not, I also, I share things with my family. I share adventures. I share, film work when I was more filming stuff, music stuff whenever I'm playing guitar. I share all those things with because I want to influence someone. I want to motivate someone to go out and do the same because you're valuable and you're incredibly valuable being, spiritual being, and it's a responsibility. Okay, it is certainly a responsibility. So when you grow as an individual, you are able to get better at doing these kinds of things, right? And that's why I've invested in myself, right? I've invested in myself, in my spirituality. I know who I am as a spiritual being. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going in that area. So because of those things and that foundation that I have, I'm able to help others because of that, because of it. Because remember, you have to kind of help yourself first before you can help others, right? Sort of like when you're in the airplane and the oxygen mask falls, right? Put it on yourself first before you go and help someone else, right? Because if you're suffocating and you're useless to anyone if you're not able to help yourself first, right? That's the growing part of it, right? You're going to grow as an individual as you take responsibility for the gifts that you've been given, right? Or the gifts that you have, or the gifts that you're developing. You have to take responsibility for that and put them out into the world. The last thing that I want to mention is start. You have to start now. Don't say, you know what, I'm going to start. I get this from people all the time. As soon as I get that job, then I'll do it. As soon as that money comes in, then I'll do it. As soon as I move to a better place, then I'll do it. As soon as I get a better partner, then I'll do it. As soon as this happens, then I'll do it. As soon as that happens, then I'll do it. As soon as something is always going to be in your way because you're creating that. Because all you have to do is just say, all right, you know what, I'm starting right now. If it's something that you want to actually communicate to the world via social media, you want to get on your platform and you want to say, hey everybody, my name is John and I'm here to help you with blah blah. I'm a cook. I'm passionate about helping people either spiritually or physically. Maybe I'm a personal trainer. Maybe I know a lot about nutrition. Always make sure you tell people you're not a doctor because that's always an important thing. Because they, even though I trust some nutritionists 100 times more than doctors, that's another story for another day. But you want to make sure that you're being responsible with what you're saying to people, but that you also believe it, that you work on it, and that you're there because you want to help people. So when you get on, you start, and you could just start by saying, "Hey, my name is John, and and I just want to come out here and just introduce myself. I was born here. I did this growing up. I'm passionate about this, and my goal really in life is to da 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 da, and I want to do this, and I'm hoping that I'll do this more often, and I'll get better at it, and I'll get. I mean, you look at some of my earlier videos that I have on YouTube. Some of them I actually took down because they were so bad that I was just too embarrassed. Someday maybe I'll put them up again, but they were just so bad where I was just like, hey, so it's important to be nice to people. That was me. So I was definitely not where I am today, and I knew that if I just kept doing it, I would get better at it. Because the idea that people are looking is what stops things from developing. But if you just focus that energy on what you want to communicate because you want to help others, then that's when you get your power. Because now you're only thinking about that. You're only thinking about, I want to say this thing because I know it's going to help people. I grew up in this environment and I was able to overcome this, or I'm working towards this. I want to become a lawyer and I'm thinking of going back to law school. What do you guys think? I love law. I love this. I love that. You know what I mean? You put things out there to the world and you communicate, because communication is really the solvent to all. And when you're really openly communicating to the world, you're able to bring in so much more energy because there are people out there, a majority of the people out there want to see you do well. Even if you disagree on certain areas, I think most people really want others to do well. The majority of people, they're trying to get along, they're trying to get the world moving on. You can go outside and see people driving to work. You got the fire department, you got our police saving us, you have our ambulance workers taking us to hospitals and taking care of us. You have our hospital frontline workers being out there. Everybody's trying to get along. They want us all to do well. And it's a responsibility for each of us to go out and to influence others to do the same. All right. There you have it, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening to my sometimes rambling, but I feel good when I deliver something that I think um, a lot of people need to hear and that I know would be helpful. And if you need anything, if you need any help with this, if you need more guidance in that area, just send me a message. You can always email me at johnhenrysoto@protonmail.com, and in the title say, I need help, or John, talk to me. Yeah, how about that? John, talk to me. I like that line. Say it in the title, send me an email, and I would gladly set up a conference call like this for you and find out where you are, where do you want to go, what do you want to do, and I will give you a blueprint. It doesn't have to be the blueprint, you can work off of it, but I will give you a blueprint that I would suggest to you that would help you get more exposure in that area and actually be able to move more freely in the goals that you want. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate you all. If you like these videos, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends that there's this little Puerto Rican dude that goes around talking stuff, and sometimes he makes sense. And I'd appreciate that. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful Thursday. Take care of yourselves out there. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Make today great. Do the things that you love. Take care of yourselves. And as always, peace.